I feel like I'm being interviewed or I'm interviewing someone. I've already filmed an intro, but then I realized that the angle's probably not that good because my eyesight isn't good. I can't really tell if it's okay or not, but let's just roll with it. I am gonna get this intro right, I am. Okay, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Chloe and I am a British expat currently living in Guangzhou, China, but not for long. Okay, that wasn't even a joke, so why did I do that?
Bye.
I don't know what I'm going to call this video, but it should be along the lines of me moving back to the UK. I know it doesn't really need its own video, but I feel like if you miraculously somehow stumbled across my channel, you might be like, oh, she lives in China, and then one day be like, oh, when did she move back to the UK? So I thought maybe if I just like sit down and explain it, and explain like my reasons, because a lot of people are like, why are you moving back? So I didn't want to make this video until I actually felt like this was going to happen, because for about 3 weeks, or well, I could say for about 5 months, but for about 3 weeks, I just couldn't see me and my cat leaving this country. I just couldn't see it. But now circumstances have changed and I can actually see it happening. This has been such a long time coming, and basically me and Pumpkin are going back to the UK, and it happens to be the exact same flight that we'll be on together. So I wasn't actually planning on going on that flight with her, but turns out, you know, airlines just don't want to fly from China to the UK. They just don't. They're like, nah, I'm not about that life. I'm not taking those risks. So my flight on the 28th got cancelled, which is fab. So I haven't really been given another choice. Yeah, but it's fucking expensive. Whenever I seem to mention me going back to the UK or me stressing out about going back to the UK, I seem to get a lot of people asking me why I'm doing that. Even on my YouTube, obviously I've mentioned it in a few different vlogs here and there, and I've had a few people commenting like, just stay in China. And like, I know it's coming from a place of like consideration, because technically in China, well, not technically, in China there's no lockdown, so I can go where I want, I can do what I want pretty much. I can just have somewhat of a better lifestyle here, which I totally get. The UK is still in lockdown and it's still practicing social distancing. So I get it. I get why people would be like, why are you putting yourself through so much stress just to go back to the UK? And it's like, I want to just express that firstly, like, why does it matter? Do you know, like if someone on the internet said, oh, I'm gonna move to Australia tomorrow just because I can, who I am as a person, I wouldn't question that. I'd just be like, good for you. Even if someone was like, oh, do you know what, I'm gonna go and move to an island on my own and not speak to anyone again for 5 years or 10 years, I'd be like, you do you. Like, I'm just not someone who like questions people's like choices. I'm just not. Like, for starters, I don't care that much, if I'm honest, and I don't get why people do. The main reason I'm going back to the UK is that I have not earned a full salary, or even half a salary, or even quarter of a salary, I don't think, since before Christmas. I actually was informed right at New Year, I think it was on New Year's Eve, that one of my main sources of income was gonna have to postpone our partnership up until after the Chinese New Year, which would have only been about 2 or 3 weeks. But then obviously the outbreak began just before the Chinese New Year in China. Obviously we all know that it came from China, so that basically stopped 100% of my income, not just 70% anymore. It stopped the 100%. I wasn't that bothered in the beginning, because I was like, do you know what, it'll blow over and we'll do online classes and online work and it'll be fine. But then it got to like end of February and I was like, this work just isn't coming back. Like, it's just not. Like, I just don't know what to do. And like, you don't realize how much your money fucking goes when you're not earning, because obviously with rent and like living costs, okay, I wasn't going out drinking and eating expensive food and that, but I still had this whole apartment to pay for and my bills. A lot of people in China got discounts or rent free. My landlord was like, nah bitch, you're paying the full amount whether you like it or not. So I paid my rent in full and my bills in full throughout the whole virus, even though I was earning 0. I think it was about March time that I started to slowly get like 1 or 2 classes a week, which have now completely gone as well. I haven't got a choice. I can't physically be here any longer. I honestly feel like I've just sat and gave money away because nothing's coming in. It's just like it's not a flow. It's like a constant like, well, yeah, outgoing and nothing ingoing. I don't need to explain it. Financially, I need to go home. Another reason that I want to go back to the UK is actually I was always leaving China this year. It was always my plan, and I know that sounds like such a easy answer, but I swear you can look back at my February Get Ready With Me where I talk about how I wanted to move to Hong Kong this year, but I just didn't think moving to Hong Kong would be the right move now. Maybe in the future. Hong Kong is my favorite place in the world, so maybe in the future, but yeah, not this year. That was always my plan this year, but the pandemic has just fast-tracked that for me. It's given me a reason to get it done quickly, and like I don't know why people assume that me going back to the UK is like a done deal, like that's forever now. I'm going back and I'm never leaving. I'm gonna stay in my little tiny town that I grew up in for the rest of my life. It's like I can go wherever the fuck I want, you know? If I decide after 2 years in the UK that I want to move to fucking Singapore and start my business out there, I don't have a business, but start a business out there, like I might do that. I'm ready. I've been here for 2.5 years, and like that was always my plan. I never moved to China and was like, I'm gonna be here for the rest of my life, I'm gonna raise kids there. Like it was never my plan. I was always coming here temporarily. And my last reason is due to like the current situation between like locals and foreigners. It's not that great. It's better than it was. I think I vlogged one weekend where it was really bad in Guangzhou because we had that mini spike which originated from a foreign person in China. So there was a real hostility between the locals and foreigners here, and it really did obviously made me feel somewhat uncomfortable. Now that has changed, and it's become, even in my building downstairs, there's a letter in both English and Chinese talking about how discrimination is totally not tolerated and blah 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 blah. But they've come through that and they've created a solution to that problem, but it just, I don't know, I guess it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and it just made me even more ready to go and start a new life or a new chapter. I do feel like it wouldn't be right if I didn't end this video kind of explaining that like this isn't an accurate representation of China. I know that for the past 5 months since like the outbreak began, I have been obviously feeding into the more negative sides of China, but that doesn't mean that I dislike this country. Like I absolutely love China. I still love Chinese people. I have loads of Chinese friends. Like I'm not trying to cast a negative cloud over this country. There are right and wrong things about every country in the world. I mean, I'm from the UK and I'll hold my hands up and say people are fucking idiots back there. You've got people sat on the beach like elbows touching with other people, like fucking idiots, like absolute idiots. Someone said to me, you're not selling China for me, and that really hurt me because I love China and I will come back every year without fail, even if it's to Hong Kong or to go traveling around the rest of China. Like I don't want people to think that just because this pandemic's been really difficult for a foreigner living here doesn't mean that like China's a horrible place or you shouldn't go there or you should think badly towards it, because it's not. Like I wouldn't have moved here if it was bad. And yeah, I just don't want people to think negatively towards China, because there are good and bad things, and you're not gonna like everything about every country. You're just not. Like you're just not. Yeah, don't let this put you off. If you've happened to watch this and you're thinking of moving to China, or you've already got plans to move to China, do not let this put you off. I know that come even like a few months time, things will just slowly start to settle back to the way it used to be, which was a great, amazing place to live that I've thoroughly enjoyed for 2.5 years, and I wouldn't take any of it back. So don't let it put you off. Conclusion is, I'm moving back to the UK. I'm going back to British soil. I'm gonna go live in the Shire once again, temporarily. I'm not gonna live there forever. And I'm bringing my cat back with me, and that is just, I was never gonna do it any other way. She was always coming back with me, but it's just amazing. And I just feel so blessed and grateful that I'm finally at this point, because I just did not see this happening for such a long time. And this whole process had honestly broken me at one point. Everything to do with taking a cat back to the UK is going to be in its own separate video. So yeah, you can watch that if you're interested in taking a cat back to the UK. I literally was saying goodbye and then the freaking thing died. No, it didn't die, it ran out of space. Yeah, so now I'm just gonna film this really awkward, like fucking 30-second clip saying thank you for watching, and I will see you when I see you. Come Mr. DJ, some on the replay. Come Mr. DJ, want to turn the music up? Haven't I got Slenderman arms?
Bye.